Every now and then you stumble upon an artist's work that just feels different. It's not like it was meticulously planned and created, but more like it was discovered. Like finding these little fragments of thoughts and feelings scattered around like clues. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to try and piece some of these clues together and see what we find. All right, first up, we've got a torn corner, a really cryptic phrase about art. And boom, another one flashes by. It's like a thought captured mid-flight, just raw energy. On their own, each one is pretty intriguing, right? But when you see them together, they start to form this, well, it's like a poetic constellation. And check this last one out. The diffident passersby might be mistaken for festive if they, and then it just stops. The sentence is cut off, and it just leaves you hanging, wondering what comes next. So, what we're left with is this beautiful, kind of chaotic collection of words, which leads to the big questions, right? What exactly are we looking at here? And who's the person who created all this? All right, to really get what's going on with these fragments, we need a little bit of context. So let's pull back the curtain and find out who the artist is and what tool he's using to make this stuff. Okay, so the artist's name is Zach Houston, and he's a poet, but not in the way you might think. He works in this super public, really spontaneous way, a lot of the time creating these pieces right there on the spot and just giving them away to people. And the tool he uses? It's absolutely crucial to understanding his work. He uses a typewriter. Yeah, a typewriter. That clack, clack, clack of the keys, the way the ink hits the paper and stays there, that's all part of the art. We're not talking about the clean, sterile perfection of a word processor here. This is something much more physical. Okay, so now that we know who he is and how he's making this, let's dive back into that beautiful chaos. Let's see if we can spot some patterns. Are there themes or ideas that keep popping up and tie all these different fragments together? So one of the first themes that really jumps out is the city. A ton of Houston's work is just packed with these little observations and snapshots of urban life. It's almost like he's making a field recording of a city's consciousness. And here we've got two perfect examples. The one on the left, it just perfectly captures that weird anonymous intimacy you only get on a subway. And then the one on the right, it's this big, sprawling stream of consciousness thing that just throws you right into the middle of Los Angeles. I mean, you can practically feel the energy of these places coming off the page. But it's not all just about the outside world. Houston also points that typewriter inward. He gets into these really big philosophical ideas about time, about art, and, just what it means to exist. And this one, I love this one for its simplicity. Walking slowly is a poem. That's it. It's this perfect, complete thought. It's like a tiny little manifesto about just slowing down and paying attention. It really makes you think about how the speed we're all moving at changes how we experience life, doesn't it? This piece right here really gets to the core of how he thinks about art itself. See, he's not just making art, he's questioning it. He calls art a victim, a warrior, a refugee, a survivor, even a sacrifice. He's showing us that art isn't just some pretty thing to hang on a wall. It's this living, breathing, powerful, and often really contradictory force in our world. So we've talked a bit about the what, the themes and ideas, but now let's talk about the how, because with this art, the style, the actual physical object of the poem is every bit as important as the words themselves. And when you really break it down, a few things really define his style. First, the phrases are super fragmented, almost like you're just overhearing bits of a conversation. Then there's the raw, physical texture of the ink and paper. You can almost feel it. Each piece has this found object vibe, like a note you'd discover on the street. It all comes together to create this incredible sense of immediacy and vulnerability. And this one captures that whole philosophy perfectly. Look closely. You see that strikeout? And right here, this typo, TJE. Now, in a Word doc, you just backspace and fix that, right? But here, it's not a mistake. It's evidence. It's the human fingerprint. It's a record of the exact moment this was created, flaws and everything. Okay, so we've looked at all these different pieces. The big question is, what are we supposed to take away from all this? Well, the truth is, the answer is probably going to be a little different for everybody. And honestly, that's kind of the whole point. See, experiencing Zach Houston's work isn't like trying to solve a riddle. This isn't some test where there's only one right answer for what a poem is supposed to mean. No, instead, it's more like an invitation. It's about letting your eyes just wander across these fragments, embracing that beautiful chaos, and just seeing what resonates. See what phrase or image sparks something personal for you. It's almost like a collaboration between his words and your own life experiences. So, I want to leave you with one last fragment to chew on. What's is as naught goes up, and what exists does. I mean, it's confusing, right? It's poetic, and you can't just explain it away easily. And that's why it's a perfect example of his work. It's a thought that just kind of sticks with you long after you've stopped looking at it. So, if this little tour has got you curious and you want to fall even deeper down the rabbit hole into these typewritten worlds, you should definitely go check out more of his work on his website. Thanks so much for joining me on this exploration today.